In this segment, I'm going to provide an overview of the motivations behind the core patterns in the pattern language, namely the monolithic architecture and the microservice architecture. So let's imagine that you're building an online store. You're probably going to have an architecture that looks something like this. There's going to be layers, and within layers, there's going to be modules. So in this particular application, there's a storefront UI that's the web layer. There's going to be various back-end modules that implement the business logic, catalog service that's storing product information, recommendation service that's maintaining recommendations, review service, order service. There could be many more, shipping service, for example. The presentation tier is likely to be supporting a browser, could also be supporting mobile clients, so it might be emitting HTML, it might actually have a REST API. There's probably going to be a SQL database in the background. So a pretty standard enterprise application. So the question is, we've got that nice modular architecture. How are we going to package it up and deploy it, right? You know, there are various issues that you have to address when you answer this question. And one of the primary drivers today is that businesses need to innovate faster. And what does that mean for us as software developers? Well, we're actually developing the platforms, the software platforms upon which the business is actually innovating. We can think of what we do as automating various business processes. So if the businesses need to innovate faster, that means that we as software developers need to develop more complex, higher quality software faster and faster. So in other words, we just need to build better software faster. And then related to that, there are sort of lower level forces, right? We need to be productive. The code that we write needs to be easy to understand and maintain. Ideally, we want to practice continuous deployment of our applications. So in other words, when a developer makes a change and commits it, we want a system that will automatically test it and then deploy that change into production. We want to be able to do that many, many times a day. So to get away from monthly or quarterly or weekly release cycles, we just want to continually deploy our changes. We also want to be able to leverage emerging technologies, frameworks, programming languages, because let's face it, you know, there are lots and lots of new technologies that come out, and some of them are actually an improvement over what has come before. And we want to be able to leverage that because that will make us more productive. And then we need to be able to deploy multiple application instances for scalability and availability. We can't just take an app and just run one copy of it. So there's a couple of different patterns that we can adopt. One of them is the monolithic architecture, which you can think of as having been the traditional enterprise architecture, where we package up as one big thing, and that actually has benefits as well as drawbacks. And then, of course, there's the newer microservice architecture, where we actually are breaking our system down into much smaller pieces. As you're going to see, that's going to have some benefits, but it's also going to have some significant drawbacks as well. In the next segment, we're going to look at the monolithic architecture pattern.